heirs of Mesopotamia living in Georgia. Excerpt from Know Each Other Better. There is not a single country in the world where people of different nationalities do not live. Georgia was no exception, where Jews, Greeks and Armenians lived even in the pre-Christian period. And even one of the youngest German community in terms of time of resettlement recently celebrated 190th anniversary from the date of moving from the land of Württemberg to Georgia. The contribution of representatives of various diasporas to the development of politics, economics, science, culture of their own historical homelands is great. Yazidis are the most ancient residents of the East. Their origins begin in Upper Mesopotamia. The history of the Yazidis and their religion is one of the oldest in the world. It is over 5,000 years old. This religion traces its lineage to the time of Sumer, Babylon, and Assyria. The Yazidi religion had a significant impact on the foundations of the religious teachings of Mazdaism and Zoroastrianism. Despite the antiquity of origin, the religion of the Yezidis Sharfatan is a monotheistic religion, that is, it preaches monotheism. Yazidis worship the supreme god Kad and his triad. In the understanding of the Yazidis, as well as in the understanding of the Jews, Christians, Muslims, God is the creator and patron of the world, of all things, everything comes from the Almighty. The religious ideas of the Yazidis about the transmigration of souls completely coincide with the ideas that exist in other world religions. It is noteworthy that the religion of Sharfatan as a creed has been almost completely preserved to this day. The Yazidis have a widespread opinion about the deity and the meaning of the word Yazid, Ezid. According to their ideas, it means God, and the Yazidis themselves are created by God and they are the followers of God. From ancient times there were Yazidi religious books. The Yazidi alphabet consisted of 35 letters. Unfortunately, the Yazidi alphabet itself and almost all religious books were destroyed by the persecutors of the Yazidi religion. Currently, we can only talk about two sacred religious books, the Book of Revelation and the Maskaf Arash, Black Chronicle, which are located in the Holy Temple of the Yezidis, Lailesh, located in the mountains of Sinjar, northern Kurdistan, on the territory of modern Iraq. These books became known thanks to the English missionary O'Parry. Soon they were translated into Chaldean, Assyrian, Arabic, Greek, Latin and other languages. Lailesh is a holy place for all Yezidis. The entrance to it is guarded by a stone statue of a snake. The Yezidis throughout their history have been persecuted, subjected to forced assimilation and forced to turn away from their faith. The process of persecution and physical extermination of the Yezidis can be divided into several stages. The first stage begins in the 7th century with the emergence of Islam and the advance of the Arabs into Mesopotamia with the aim of planting a new faith there. During that period, a significant part of the followers of the Yazidi faith under the guise of Zoroastrianism, together with the Zoroastrians, left their original places of residence and fled to Iran and India, which were relatively safe places. The second stage of the persecution of the Yazidis occurred in the late Middle Ages and the third and fourth on the new and latest periods. The fate of the Yazidis is very peculiar and tragic. Some of them were forced to abandon the faith of their ancestors and convert to Islam in order to survive. This circumstance can be considered one of the reasons for the decline in the number of Yezidis. Large tribal associations of the Yezidis refused other religions and defended the religion of their ancestors with weapons in their hands. As a result of the Russian-Iranian, Russian-Turkish and Crimean Wars, a small part of the Yezidis became subjects of the Russian Empire, in particular in Armenia and Georgia. In Georgia, several tens of thousands of Yezidis live compactly in the cities of Tbilisi, Tel Aviv, Rostov, as well as in Ajora. Before the collapse of the USSR in Georgia, much attention was paid to socio-economic and cultural and educational issues. So, in the 1920s, a boarding school for orphans was opened, were created literacy programs, committees for the elimination of illiteracy, 9-month teacher training courses were opened, and the so-called Kurdish Club, the Yezidis of Georgia in the USSR were called Kurds, in view of political gain. Government opened 2 elementary and 1 7-year national schools. A section of Kurdish writers was created at the Georgian Writers' Union. Folklore ensembles of song and dance were created. There was a national theater, which later received the name of the People's Theater. This theater was the only Yazidi theater in the entire territory of the former USSR. There was a national broadcast on Georgian radio, and clubs for the study of native language and literature were opened. Representatives of this nationality held positions in government bodies. They were members of the government and parliament. The population was closely integrated into general republican life and, along with other national minorities, considered themselves full-fledged citizens of Georgia. Unfortunately, all this is in the past. Since the beginning of the 90s, the social, cultural and legal status of the Yezidis has deteriorated sharply. For some reason, the above-mentioned cultural groups ceased to function. Despite the efforts of the public and the weak support of some government officials, it is impossible to restore the past in the field of culture. Due to the lack of a base for studying and preserving the religion of Sharfaden, the Yazidi diaspora and the clergy are not able to disseminate dogmas and teachings of a single monotheistic religion among the youth and the population.